When?
Right now, we should be live.
Let's go. Let's go.
I am going to invite Kua to the server, and he'll help in. He can jump in here as well.
Yeah, hopefully Kua's available. I just talked to him on VC earlier, so. Oh, let's go. Sure. Let's go, Kua. Let's go.
Let's go. Ready to get your.
All right, so now they will only see my tournament screen. Sweet. We go to Discord and let everyone know that we're live. Welcome, Kua, to the call.
Oh, welcome. Whoopsie.
Oh, damn. Kua just hopped on the camera. He's like, face reveal. Damn, let's go, Kua.
Shit, I almost revealed my race.
It's okay. I'm not streaming Discord, so.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, dang, the people that got to saw my face, got to see my face before 500 subs.
No.
Yo, dope.
Are you pinging everyone in the server, or do you need me to?
I just pinged everybody in the server. Sorry, I never hit. I hit enter, but it forgot it gives you that pop up. So now they all know that we're live.
Alrighty, let's see who we got.
We got our participants right here. Go ahead and start the tournament. We got Krishna and Darts. And then we got Innocent Zero and Einzul Gone. And then King of Ruin and Dragonborn. And lastly, Kirby and Emperor of Mankind. And we got all of their stuff over in here. Except for King of Ruin, which will be presented by Dawn. And I didn't throw everything of Krishna's in here because I figured you could fill in the gaps.
Oh yeah. A lot of it's I didn't want to like sound redundant, and it's like super highly contextual. So yeah.
Let's go. Let's get this party. Let's get this party started.
Let's go. I don't even know half of these characters. I mean, I know Don's character because, I've heard it from Don, but okay, I know Dragonborn, Kirby, Emperor of Mankind, Einzel Gone, but I don't know who Innocent Zero or Darts is, so that's kind of new.
Darts is from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Huh.
And Innocent Zero is from, what'd you say, Mordekaiser? I can't remember.
Yeah, so we're gonna get this underway.
Darts is from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Give me just 1 second.
Crossing my fingers. Ugh. Hey, Mord.
Yeah, what's up?
Is it this might not be fair, but is it okay that like I mention something that I didn't put up there?
Yeah.
If I missed it? Okay.
Of course.
Because like yeah, I guess because Don's explaining his, so
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I have you, because you guys got some complex stuff going on in yours. So I figured you guys would be able to answer questions better than me.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I've got it up to where's my chat? even show my chat anymore. Alright, well, I guess we'll just have to full screen this for now. And I'll just keep checking back to it. So, our first one is going to be Krishna versus Darts. And so, for anybody wondering, Darts is from Yu-Gi-Oh! This guy does a lot of stuff with the Seal of Orichalcos, and Krishna is the Hindu god, Krishna. So he's got quite a bit going on for him. I'm going to hand the mic over to Kua and let him explain some stuff about Krishna, and then I'll go over Darts. So take it away.
Oh, cool. You're repping darts?
Well, we're not going to represent. We're just going to explain some of what their hacks can do, and then we're going to let the people decide.
Oh, okay. Cool. Actually, could you click on the slides or the sheet that you put up for Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of easier to go down the list. Okay. Now, disclaimer to all the people who actually belong to this religion. I'm simply just naming off of like the known powers and stuff in that kind of context, like Krishna as like a human who had mystical powers, not as like God. Because obviously, if I treated it in that way, he would instantly. I don't even think he would really belong in this tournament. But I do have a deep respect and love for, Krishna. So just putting that out there. So I would say the first thing that to go over Krishna is in respects to like his character throughout his life, he was regarded as a Mahayogi. I don't know if that's the exact term, but he was treated as like a supreme yogi. Now, when it comes to the powers of yoga, it's like there's so many traditions where it gets super esoteric and like you could go on for a billion years, but the main powers that you do get from yoga are called siddhis. And siddhis, I forgot the exact translation, but they're basically like extraordinary, not necessarily supernatural, but yeah, extraordinary kind of powers. So just the
Okay.
basic rundown of powers that you'll see is shrinking, meaning that like quite explanatory. You can shrink to the smallest. Translations around these have kind of been like up and down before, like, oh, he goes to the atomic size, but to like the biggest extent that I've ever seen the power translated to is like the smallest. So literally however small he wants to get. The next power would be growing to the largest. So pretty explanatory, just growing big, however big that the character wants to get. An example of this is characters have grown to the sizes of universes, or at least there's been statements that they could grow to like the size of like universes with this power. Kind of the pair between the two powers is not only just like growing big or growing small, but really kind of being able to traverse. I think it's connected to like traversing anywhere you want to go. So, like for an example, a famous Siddhi controller, as in Hanuman, he not only gets really big or really small, but he can be anywhere he wants to be. Like he could be in your dreams, but that's going into a whole nother realm of stuff. So the next one is becoming the lightest of the light. So he can, the controller of this power, well, he can change weight basically to be as light as he wants it to be. This can also translate to levitation and flight as well. Garima becoming the heaviest. So, literally becoming as heavy as you want to on any kind of degree. Now the next power, this by the way, becoming heavy also translates to durability as well. So that can also become like increasing the durability up to even invincibility. Propati, to acquire whatever object the proprietor to acquire whatever object that the person wants to. So that basically means, well, yeah, like you can summon whatever you want to your side. A lot of the times, this had been used to um, summon certain like divine weapons to one side. Although I don't know if that would be applicable in this tournament. But yeah, it could summon many different kinds of anything you want. The proprietor of the senses of all beings. Um, I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself. It's you control the senses, uh, the physical senses of all beings, as well as their like physiological. And what I mean by physiological sense is so like your ears or whatever the organ inside your head is what allows you to hear, but the I don't know how to put it, the action of hearing itself, not connected to the organ or like your eyes. Here's a better example. So your eyes see, but seeing itself, if that makes sense. Kind of complex right there, but I'll move on.
Actually,
Prakayama.
before you go any further, I'm gonna ask you just for clarification for like the first four that you talked about, the smallest, largest, lightest, and heaviest. How quick
Yeah.
are those transformations? Like, is it instantaneous as soon as he wants to be, as small as an atom he is, or like, is there visible shrinking?
A lot of the times in media, it has been depicted like, for like entertainment purposes. Uh, you know, like like 5 seconds or 1 second, but it can be to whatever degree the user wants that to be, to my understanding. Like the application of those powers as well as the extent of those powers. So they can literally be to any degree that the user wants them to be.
Okay, and
That's
it,
my
I
understanding.
mean, typically happens pretty quick.
Yeah, it happens very, very quick.
Okay,
But to my understanding, yes, it could be controlled um however it wants to be once you have that power. Within whatever it describes the power to be. But kind of breezing through again, enjoy whatever anything that can be seen or heard. Now this isn't really like a combat necessarily applicable power, but you're chilling forevermore. That's pretty cool. I think.
yeah.
Uh, Ishvara or Ishva. It depends how they spell it. It's very specific. But lordship over creation. This can mean many things, but it's essentially God mode. It's control over everything in the universe, from physical matter elements to like forces that are not physical, gross and subtle. I'm just gonna leave it there for now. But if anyone's got any questions, I can more than answer. Vaista, being able to control the minds of others. Now, to clarify, this can be considered like a psychic power when it says controlling the minds of others, but it's more so when the mind is referred to as it's referred to more so like almost as like an element rather than just like the way you think about it with Professor X, and like it's a very very subtle element, but the mind itself isn't. Yeah, so just think about it in that way. Think about it almost in the same way elemental control is handled.
Okay.
Now, yeah. So it's not exactly, it can be done on that level of like in a psychic way, but it's not quite the same as like a Professor X. This part of I'm just reading off the what I'm putting here. This part is highly nuanced because of translations and deeper meanings. Examples: heavy means being immovable, and of course, it could also translate to durability, invincibility. One attains supreme happiness, wherein one's desire finds its completement. That is, yeah, that's basically where like whatever the person's desires are, they will find completement. It's kind of like a passive reality warp. If this could translate to a victory kind of manipulation. And then yeah, kind of everything you see on the screen there kind of shows what I've already went over. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now.
All right. Well, I will switch over and talk about darts then. I don't have a whole lot in the doc for him, so I'll just go with what I was sent. But a lot of it has to do with interactions with Seal of Orichalcos, but some of it is innate stuff that darts can do. And from what I gathered, he has kind of complete control over the Seal of Orichalcos. But if somebody steps into its circle, they're trapped within it and they can't leave, and nobody else can enter until the duel is over. So it basically like forces somebody into a duel with him. Uh,
Like a Yu-Gi-Oh duel or something?
within the context of the show, yeah, that's all we've ever seen it use that. But I'm not gonna say it has to do with. I'm gonna say more of just like it traps them in that area because you can't leave it. So I mean, he's locked in a duel anyway because it's a series of 1v1s.
Mm.
But we'll kind of just use it as like
Okay.
a he traps them in the same general area, which probably won't benefit him in a lot of matches. But he's also able to create illusions, and those illusions range from like people to Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. He can make people see Yu-Gi-Oh monsters that aren't there. So,
Huh.
uh,
Could I ask, like, so, for example, if he activated the Seal of Orichalcos and and Mike Tyson was there, would that be like the boxing ring for Mike Tyson? And he'd have to fucking throw hands with Mike Tyson?
potentially, really, I think all it does is just trap them in a circle. So I mean, like, I feel like after that, it's up to the whoever is trapped on how they proceed. Um,
Okay, because I do remember watching that season, and it was like whoever won the duel got to leave the circle while the other, their soul was transported.
yeah, there's a lot of banishment to the Shadow Realm stuff going on in this season. Um, so there's a deal called Q Torres effect um, that it's part of the Orichalcos, but it reduces battle damage to 0. So he can. It's basically like a once per turn auto neg for any attack. So like in the
Hmm.
show, Kaiba and Yugi both used their strongest attacks against him, and with that ability, he took 0 damage from any of it.
Hmm.
There's Orichalcos Deuteros, which heals him for every monster he has present. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know that this will be super applicable because, I mean, I feel like summoning monsters would be outside help.
Hmm. Could I actually see the darts spreadsheet?
Yeah, I will let you guys see them.
Ooh.
I won't put it on YouTube because it's a DM from somebody on Discord,
Oh yeah.
but I'll let you guys look at them. Uh,
No, yeah, it's kind of easier to associate what you're saying with the pictures.
yeah, yeah. It says that Deuterus also negates monsters' attacks and destroys monsters that are attacking him. So that's gonna get really iffy because I don't know if we would consider his opponent a monster or not.
No.
People don't typically see gods as monsters.
Yeah, I'm gonna try keep away from that because
Yeah,
it kind of sounds low key offensive.
it sounds pretty offensive. Yeah, but I mean, even other characters like, Ainzu Gon, who kind of is a monster, is more of a person than a monster, especially in
Mm.
terms of like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well,
So
I was supposed to say, doesn't Dart like have to draw the seal of the Lake County from his deck to like actually activate it? That would have to assume that he hits the seal of the Lake Calcos immediately.
well, see, so since they're not in the setting of a duel, I don't know how that would work because like he's got another deal down here that has to do with Mirror Knight and how Mirror Knight is effective
Mm.
while the shield or the seal of Orichalcos, and like that's a summons which would be outside help. So I mean, maybe if we let him use it off of an illusion of Mirror Knight, but that kind of gets
Okay.
really splitting hairs and a little dogging.
I mean, if you're talking about like him summoning a monster, um, like consciously, I think that kind of counts almost like as like almost in the same way how I was talking about the power where you could acquire anything,
Yeah,
and how like I was talking about how it could be used to summon weapons.
and the more that I think about it, I feel like it would count as a hex because they use like darts and Yugi in these specific duels are using more magic to summon their monsters instead of cards. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a magic ability, which would be a hack. So we'll go ahead and throw it in there. But so like, as long as Mirror Knight has a shield and the shield's not broken, um, the shield will just infinitely regenerate anytime it's broken. So
Mm.
he's kind of got
Okay.
like an infinite shield as long as Mirror Knight's in the way. I mean, if you can get around Mirror Knight or use a non-direct attack, which these will all be pretty well non-direct. Some of Ain's stuff will be like summoning fireballs and other magic stuff, so that might have worked against him. But it sounds like Krishna is a lot of metaphysical attacks, so I don't feel like Mirror Knight's shield will do a whole lot.
Um, I would say kind of not as a point to like debate against you,
Uh-huh.
but it did remind me of another aspect to Krishna. So like in many thoughts of like Hinduism, the whole of the universe or like physicality is considered like Maya or like an illusion, and the Lord's supreme illusion, when he of course descends down, is called his yoga Maya, and that's kind of like the blinds which he puts around himself to where like most of the living kingdom can't like see him for who he truly is. But like there's been an instance where he's gifted like his friend Arjuna something like divine eyes to see past like the illusion of his yoga maya. So like in that
Okay.
way I would say like none of the illusion stuff would really work.
Okay, that makes sense. He's
Yeah.
also got a monster that he can summon that I guess gets stronger every time it revives. See if it talks about how much stronger he gets. Yeah, it just says he gains attack points every time he revives. So, I mean, I don't
Mm.
have the context for how much stronger he gets. Um, but I mean, they just don't kill him over and over. Don't imagine he'll get too strong. Darts has infinite stamina, so I mean there's no chance of him getting tired out. Um,
He could run a marathon infinitely, right?
that's right. He'll run circles around Krishna.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
so it sounds like Dart is the planet's manifestation of hate towards humans. So as long as people hate or as long as the Earth hates humans, darts will never really be gone.
Hmm.
So that'll get a little dicey there. We'll interpret that how we want, I guess.
Environmentalism.
So yeah, we got those two going head to head right now. So I mean, Krishna versus darts. Um, let's go ahead and open up the vote. I think I already know who Ku is going to vote for.
I mean, not even biased, but
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Don, what about you?
I mean, Krishna pretty much takes it to the win. This is not
Yeah.
even a question. Like,
Yeah, it seems Krishna's pretty busted. I'll wait for anyone in the chat that wants to chime in. We got a couple of viewers right now.
Where's the? Oh, it was a vote.
That's right. I switched you guys' screen so you can't see the vote. Give me just
Oh,
a
okay.
second.
Are we allowed to vote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's the vote for you guys.
Yeah. I'll just tell you what vote.
Yeah.
I go for. Obviously, Krishna.
So nobody else has entered a vote yet. And in the interest of saving time, I mean, we've only got 2 viewers anyway, so at most it'd be a tie. And if it comes down to me, I'm voting for Krishna. So Krishna's going to take the cake in this one. So we'll go on to our second battle of Innocent Zero versus Eins Gon. And I'll run through both of them real quick.
Cool.
Huh?
That was the thing. Cool.
Okay. So Innocent Zero is the main bad guy from Mashal, Muscles and Magic. He's Mashal's dad and kind of created him, I think. I don't know. In more of just like a father of like mother giving birth kind of way. He kind of created him and all of his kids. But we're going to be using his ultimate form where he has absorbed the hearts of all of his kids.
Oh.
Yeah, so he becomes this being right here, basically a god within the verse. He controls 3 entire sects of magic. So he's got his Master Cane, which is time, and he can call forth Kronos, the god of time. This basically just gives him complete control of time. He can stop it, he can rewind it, he can fast forward it. He's got abilities to where like he can create a force field around him to where if you go to physically hit him, once you enter that field, all of your tissue and whatever enters that field rapidly ages. So like the main character Mash goes to punch him at one point, and his hand becomes like shriveled up and wrinkled, and like it goes from being the fist of a 18-year-old to the fist of like a 200-year-old guy. And there's also I think stuff where like people swung swords at him and they like rusted and blew away to dust. But then he's also got he controls space because he stole that from another guy because he can steal magic. That's fun. But he can call forth the god of space, Uranus, and do stuff like with a swipe of his wand, just take away any space in that area. So, say you and Don are standing 100 meters apart. he swipes away 50 meters, you guys instantly become 50 meters closer. Um,
That's pretty cool.
so, and I mean, if you're within that space, you're just gone. So he removes that space from existence. It's like it was never there to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah. He has, using the god of space, he has space warping nails, which he can control separately. He can summon an orb that has 4 of them. And basically, he can just change the direction that space is moving by activating 1 nail at a time. Which is very weird and nuanced. So I'll just leave it at that, and we won't look too much because I don't feel like it's going to make a major difference. The third magic that he has complete control over is dark magic, which he stole from his mentor and teacher. And dark magic erases anything it touches from existence. So, I mean, gone for good. And with that comes the god of darkness, Lucifer. And his big bad attack is Divine Punishment, in which Innocent Zero used to summon a ball of dark energy that was basically the size of like an extremely large meteor. And that was a fun one because even if Innocent Zero were to die, he says that the dark energy ball would not go away. It would continue to fall to the earth and destroy everything it touched as it touched it. He's also got, just basic levitation, where he can move within air. Going back to his time stuff, he's got, he can restore flesh, which I guess doesn't really help him now that he's in a god form. He can slow time around specific targets with time's cold. He can accelerate time around a specific target. He can summon giant watch hands that act like as swords, and anything around them will be frozen in time. Let's see. He can alter his appearance, but shapeshifting won't really help him in this. He can summon creatures that have the power of a regular double liner, which, I mean, no double liner will compare to any of the characters in this. So, I mean, at best, he's just, creating a bunch of fodder to tank attacks, maybe, if they're even that strong, which I don't feel like they will be for any of these. Let's see. He's also in possession of the Wands of Beginnings, which just gives an innate amp to all of his magic. He's got Darkness Basket, which releases a giant cloud of dark magic. It's more of like a smog. And again, anything it touches, it devours. So, I mean, think of the scary movie The Mist if you've seen it. It's kind of like that. What goes in does not come out. And then he can summon a darkness snake, which is just a giant snake made of dark magic. So it's like, whereas darkness basket is just smog that kind of fills the room or whatever space he's in. The snake is more fluid, and it kind of moves on its own, trying to attack whatever he sicks it on. So, I mean, it's like a sentient snake made of dark magic that can consume whatever he sends it at. And then we'll move over to Einzel Gone from here. Oh, wait, did I miss something?
That was pretty interesting. Is that a manga character you went over?
They have their own anime now. It's currently ongoing, but yeah, I scaled out everything from the manga. So.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, was that your character then?
Yeah, I put in Innocent Zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice job.
Thank you. Einzel Gone, which was sent in by Lumos Theromax. Go check out his channel if you haven't.
The Sword Master.
Exactly. I'm I'm gonna just kind of leave his deal up on the screen and run through his quick. He's got a bunch of different immunities and resistances, and I'll let people kind of peep those at their own discretion. He can create low to high tier undead, 12 a day, so max of 36. Um, which again, like I don't feel like Innocent Zero would have a problem dealing with any undead. Just like I don't feel like Ainz would have a problem dealing with any two-liner monsters that Innocent Zero could summon. But I mean, a lot of his immunities won't matter because Innocent Zero doesn't use those, so like acid, electricity, um, crit immunity, disease immunity. I mean, and being an undead, a lot of like organic stuff has no bearing on him. So, like for instance, the rapid aging that Innocent Zero can do wouldn't affect him because he's not an organic being anymore. But he's got a bunch of super tier magics. He can create. His creation can change terrain. Has a very large area that it can affect. So I mean, he can kind of manipulate the ground around him. He can call down a giant pillar of light that burns so bright and hot, appears like the whole world has turned white. So I mean, it's kind of just super blinding. Um, Everything in the area is burned to a cinder, and the area is devoid of life. There's nothing left behind. Um, he can summon a black cyclone that insta kills everything, and it's like comes into contact with it. He can grant a wish that makes the impossible possible. Interpret that however you want. He can summon 6 super strong cherubim's gatekeepers that are under his full command, which are within the terms of the game that he gets isekai'd in. Very strong, very hard to kill monsters. Again, probably on par with whatever Innocent Zero can summon, so kind of a net zero summoning game there. He's got enhanced hearings. I mean, I guess Innocent Zero won't be able to sneak up on him or anything. Unfortunately for Ainz, I don't think he has any negation to time manipulation or space manipulation. So, I mean, there's the potential for Innocent Zero to just stop time and remove him from space. Yeah, so I'll switch on back over to here and let's go ahead and start the voting. What do you? We'll start with Kua. What do you think?
To be honest, that was a whole lot of information, especially on Ein's part.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to be like a dickhead and just like vote your character to be that guy.
All right, I mean, vote whoever you're feeling. And I mean, if you don't know, you don't have to vote. I won't force you.
I honestly, I'll step back. I don't know. I would probably need to go over the sheet and literally analyze who I think would be, and I don't think that would take way too long. So I'm gonna probably step out of voting.
All right, Don. What do you got?
Whoa, damn! This is actually a really tough one because both of these characters have a shitload of hacks. Like,
out of the first 4 rounds, I feel like this is the one that's like the furthest from a stomp.
I mean, you're not wrong with Innocent Zero being able to probably stop time and being able to stop Ons. I mean, but the Wish Upon a Star thing, I mean, I'm not sure he would pull that out every single round. Like, I just don't see that. So, like, I feel like Innocent Zero probably would take the win more times out of 10 than not.
Okay.
Just because of the time and space manipulation.
Right, that makes sense. So I'm gonna put you down for Innocent Zero. We got Joe in the chat who voted for Ainz. So I'll wait a little bit to see if anybody else wants to chime in and swing the vote. If not, I'll have to hop in here. Says that we've got a couple people in the chat, so. But yeah, they're both just pretty crazy characters. I mean, they don't have a lot of the causality and reality manip that some of our later characters will have. But these two definitely, they bring some stuff to the table. Alrighty, since no one else is voting, I'm gonna go ahead and vote for Innocent Zero, which will make him the winner. And he's gonna be going head to head against Krishna here in a little bit.
I can't wait.
So now here we got Dragonborn, the Dovahkiin, against King of Ruin Gal Gaigar. So I am gonna let Don take over and talk a little bit about King of Ruin.
Okay, like, to explain King hacks, you kind of have to like explain Geneshiku Galgai Gar hacks. Geneshiku Galgai Gar is piloted by Evolutioner Guy. As an Evolutioner, Guy has absorbed the totality of the G Stone. The G Stone is something that is considered the gem of life, and it takes courage and converts it to energy, and it has no upper limit and never loses power. So when Guy says, I have infinite energy surging through me, that means literally he has infinite energy because he has indomitable will. It's been shown in Gal Gaigar Final that he was able to break out of Papu Repa, who's a god of destruction, and who also has a Lao G Stone that's doubled the power of the regular G Stone, which is infinite in energy. So this is double 3D infinite energy. And Papu Repa says his chemical bolts was perfect in every way. The chemical bolts were able to control, where it's able to control Guy's mind, spirit, and body, but Guy's will was able to break him out of that. Pretty much what the G Stone does is it gives an infinite feedback loop to give Guy what's called absolute victory. Okay, and absolute victory is a concept inside the Brave verse, and to simply define it, absolute victory means whoever has absolute victory, the user will win the battle or fight no matter the odds or difference in power level. For example, a 3D being with absolute victory could beat a 4D being, even though a 4D being dimensionally scales higher than that person or being. Victory manipulation is a very good definition for it. It uses a very, very high tier of reality warping, fate manipulation, and narration manipulation as well. Geneshiku Galgaigar also has something called Geneshiku Armor, and if you do not have the power output as Galgaigar, at least your attacks and abilities simply just do not work. Galgaigar has been referenced multiple times to be a god of destruction. After the events of Final, Galgaigar was sent to the Orange Site, and the Orange Site is stated to be outside of all dimensionality and time. Galgaigar then absorbed the entity known as the King of Ruin in the Orange Site. The King of Ruin just existing in our plane of reality was threatening to destroy all of the universe passively, and it took over a half a dozen outerversal entities from other franchises to even stop the King of Ruin's progress and to send him back to the Orange Site. The King of Ruin's estimated to be about 300 meters tall, but it was able to reduce Jupiter's size down to the palm of his hand with the same gravitational force as Jupiter if it was the same size if it normally was. And in the manga, Better Man versus Gal Gaigar, it was stated this would cause a universal singularity that would cause a cataclysm of monumental proportions. With these outerversal entities, like it was all 5 Better Men, and I was about to say, go definitely watch the franchise Better Man because it's one of the best animes I've watched in a very, very long time. It's super old school, but awesome. Let's see. Also, Guy, Evolutioner Guy, He's absorbed the totality of the G Stone. This literally gives him transcendence all over concepts of humanity. This includes like life, death, emotions, stuff of that nature. He just simply transcends beyond that. He's been able to move in a place that doesn't have time or space. He's able to instant hack any computer, and he has knowledge from all over Brave series before this as well. Just to name some of the hacks.
All right, all right. So that's how crazy King of Ruin is. And he's going up against the last of the Dovahkiin, the Dragonborn. And they've got elemental manipulation, some time manipulation. Um, they're good with martial arts and weaponry mastery. Don't think that's going to affect a giant mech, but you never know. Maybe he can punch super hard. He can cause paralysis. He's got some reality warping. Um, Again, he's also got a summon. He can set up some force fields to help protect himself. Um, he can manipulate his own mind by, like, giving him a bunch of stamina really fast. Enemies who come within melee range of him suffer fire damage. Again, I don't know that that's going to do a whole lot to Galgagar. Let's see if I can. Any magic that Galgagar uses, he'd absorb 50% of it. So he'd take like half damage, I guess. He's got other deals to where he could take half damage, so he can like definitely lessen how much damage he's taking from Galgagar, but if it's high enough, it's not gonna matter. Um, but here are all of the sources. I'm not gonna click any of these because that'll take us to a bunch of different sites. But yeah, I'll leave the Dovahkiin up, and let's open up the voting.
I will put my vote to King of Ruin.
Yeah, I mean, Dragonborn has some cool stuff. I'm just not 100% sure what he's going to do against fate and narrative manipulation on a high level.
So we'll start this time with Dawn. Dawn, who are you gonna choose?
I'm going to have to go with the King of Ruin on this one. Well, minus, I mean, not even the bias like part of it. Like, I just don't see what Dragonborn has like with fate or narrative manipulation to be able to stop the King of Ruin. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Kua, what do you think?
I think as well as Dragonborn Hax goes, and I think the main part of this tournament, which kind of does give King of Ruin the upper hand, is that pretty much everything was equalized, and then it's kind of about versatility, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I think King of Ruin takes that, not necessarily because he has like a list of 1 billion powers, but his set powers overcome pretty much almost everything Dragonsborn has got. So King of
Right.
Ruin.
All right. Well, if anybody in the chat would like to vote, now's your chance.
Who put in Dragonborn? Yeah, let's dox whoever put Dragonborn.
Dragonborn was sent in by. Oh, let me go back and find it. Was Keep Talking.
Keep
oh,
talking.
Yeah, Keep Talking submitted Dragonborn.
Hey, good job, bro.
Well, nobody else seems to want to vote right now, so it looks like King of Ruin is taking the cake in this one. We'll see him in the next round. So, last of our initial rounds will be Kirby versus the Emperor of Mankind. Kirby is obviously from the Kirby series. He's a pretty recognizable character. Um, he's got a lot of body control and elasticity. Um, he can change the shape and size of his body. He can stretch it. Um, you can squish him flat, and he can pop back like nothing happened. Um, see, he's got a lot of good regen. Um, can throw half of his body and reattach it, or have it explode and immediately recover that piece of his body. Um, he can fly to the extent of him, continuously sucking in air and hovering. But he doesn't require air because he can do it in space as well. So he can maneuver in space. He can create a vortex of air in his mouth and shoot out small puffs of air that can deal a good bit of damage. He can spit his targets that he consumes as tiny stars. They're not like literal stars, but he's got a bunch of resistances as well. He can shoot energy beams. He can kind of Green Lantern project his friends for an attack. There's that scan of Green Lantern summoning like the whole Justice League with his ring. He can turn himself into metal. He can create after images of himself. He can move well on water or underground. He's got the potential to put others to sleep. Got a slight precognition. Sometimes slow. Magnetism and weather manipulation. And if given the opportunity, he can paint things that'll, come into reality. So that's about all for him. And then we've got the Emperor of Mankind, who has got quite a bit going on for him. The
Emperor of Mankind.
Emperor of Mankind is from the Warhammer 40k verse, and he was submitted by Joe L. Kirby was submitted by Just Gold, or Ralsei, as some people know him. But
Shout outs.
yeah, so he's got energy manip and chaos manipulation. They manipulate the energies of the warp, and that's how they're able to use their abilities. You can do psychic bolts of energy, reality warping. They can, defy the laws of physics. Psychic powers. They have resistances to psychic powers as well. Limited flight. Animal manip. Project an aura of confidence, so they can boost other people's confidence. Muscle spasms, which I don't think Kirby has muscles, so that won't really work on him, as well as the blood manipulation. He's got a lot of stuff. Fear manipulation can twist reality to appear more terrifying, so you can do that. Can heal small wounds, create illusions, make themselves appear invisible, which would be useful. You release a wave of invisible energy that kills all planet life in the area. Blinding flashes. They can create blinding flashes. Loud sounds like deafening bangs or screeches. They can mess with somebody's memory if given the chance. So mind hacks in here, perception manipulation, pain manipulation, unnaturally lucky, so that's a big plus. So some of the major things that he can do: biomancy, can shoot lightning from his body, which I think Kirby may have had lightning resistance. I may be wrong here. No, electricity manipulation. So could potentially at least redirect it. Enhanced senses and regen. So it's got a whole bunch of other stuff down here. Goodness gracious. It's my second time reading this and it's still a lot. Durability negs. So like even Kirby's stone form or metal form, he could get around that. Deconstruction. That can transmute things into dust. Intangibility can displace his body halfway between the warp and real space. So, I mean, he can phase through objects that way and make himself untargetable, basically. Other psychers could kill with a look. He could seal Kirby, void manipulation, conceptual manipulation, dimension manipulation. I mean, he gets pretty wacky. His Halo can create force fields for him. He can make portals. There's no BFR allowed, but he can still, portal around places. Subjective reality and plot manipulation. So, dude has a whole lot going for him. But Kirby's got some stuff going for him, Time slow may help him out. I didn't see any time manipulation with the Psychers, with Emperor of Mankind. That's not to say that I didn't miss it. But I mean,
Yeah, trying to read through all this whole dissertation is kind of rough. I'm not
is.
gonna lie.
Yeah, but I mean, time is a part of realities. I mean, and he's got reality manip. So I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Trying to scan
I
for
mean,
any.
I don't see
Oh, there it is. Time manipulation
like
or time stop.
what the extent. You know what I mean? Like what the extent of this reality warping and time warping is. You know what I mean? Like I'm not familiar with Warhammer at all whatsoever. So I mean, that's the only reason I'm asking. Like,
Yeah. Let me see if I can go back to it and if there's any examples. I've already lost.
I mean,
what it
because
was.
like the first sentence there said such powers are universal, and I'm like, okay, like
For psychers are universal and are extensions to the very nature of psychers. So psychers can inherently do all of these things in the top one.
okay.
But he's a super strong psyker. Got a special halo, I guess, that helps him do stuff. So he can do some things that other psychers can't do, I guess. So, I mean, down here he does have time manipulation and time stop. So, I mean, that kind of supersedes Kirby's time slow. So, I mean, I feel like there goes Kirby's win con.
Not to mention, it said that he had like some type of precognition of some sort.
Yeah.
Kirby or
No, Emperor Mankind.
Emperor? Yeah.
Dream manip.
Yeah, he's got dream manipulation, but I think Kirby did as well.
Kirby in Dreamtime.
Yeah, I
I
know
read like a
Kirby's
gem.
done a lot of stuff with like dreams. I guess he doesn't have any resistances to it though. So, but I mean that would require Kirby to go to sleep.
Yep.
I think if he goes to sleep, it's over anyway.
Oh yeah, since Emperor Mankind can possibly manipulate dreams, it says.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. I think this might be a loss for Kirby. I mean, that's unfortunate.
So Don's throwing his hat to Emperor Mankind. Kua, what do you got?
um. Hmm. I would probably put my vote to Emperor of Mankind. Shit in the 40K universe is way too adult for Kirby, and I think he's gonna get real scarred.
Yeah, we also had keep talking in the chat vote for Emperor of Mankind. So that is 3 for Emperor of Mankind, 0 for Kirby. Emperor of
It's a
Mankind
big,
takes the cake.
big blowout here.
Yeah, it really is. Innocent Zero and Ainz is the only one that wasn't stomped.
I think Ainz could have possibly win if there were like more people here, you know?
Yeah, I feel like he's a way more well-known character than Innocent Zero. So I mean, if there were more people in the chat, maybe he could have gotten some more votes.
True, yep.
But we are moving on to Krishna versus Innocent Zero. We are in the semifinals. Um, so I'm not gonna really bother going through both the characters all over again. If you guys have any questions, or if anyone in the chat has questions, feel free to throw them out there, and I'll try to answer them. But
Is there any like kind of context or like cuz I know we're not getting like super debatey into it, but is there anything you would like to add more?
for Innocent Zero,
Yeah, or like maybe even like a scenario which like you think would put your character on top. Not that we're like debating on it super hard, but
um, no, I think I've said all that I could about Innocent Zero, and I mean if I'm being honest here, I don't see him surviving against Krishna.
um cool. Well,
So
I mean, besides that, not trying to be a dick there, but um I was kind of going back through some of my notes and some of the stuff that I also uh sent to you.
Mhm.
I would definitely like to like give the most kind of accurate information I can
Of course.
on this, especially because there's so many different translations and especially Ishkan. They're more focused, centered on Krishna, but I want to give some unbiased takes as well. Um, so the Ishva lordship over creation, it is kind of yeah, like controlling the elements, the subtle and gross elements of the universe. Um, so the elements being, let me pull it up. The elements are earth, earth, water, fire, wind, and space. So space is an element. Space is considered an element. Um, I know. And then there are the senses. So like sight, uh, hearing, like the basic elements, but also, well, they're kind of interchangeable between elements and senses because they do relate to each other. But there is also the mind and the intellect that is implied there. So an example of like subtle elements to I guess be more clear is like, so there's fire, but then fire also is light. And light is basically almost like a metaphor for sight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So light is how we perceive things, and then so on and so forth. So like, so Earth would be like touch, right? Earth would be touch in that way. Um, Scrolling through. Oh, there was a part of that screenshot that I think was kind of cut out. Um, so there actually 10 secondary cities, but they're not the main ones. So the body won't be plagued by any hunger, thirst, and such. So basically anything that like the body is like usually in a deficit of, so like the usual weaknesses of the body, they don't affect Krishna. Um he can hear things from far away, and he can see things from far away. He can be transported at the speed of the mind. Now, I did actually go on Wikipedia. I went on Wikipedia to hopefully clear some of this up for myself and others. Um, it's kind of considered like it can be considered teleportation or astral projection, but in terms of like the minds, I would say it goes to like the highest level of speed tiering, because wherever you think you want to go, you can go. And that doesn't necessarily limit to just like, physical space. It could even apply to it could apply to other things as well. The In the Bhagavat Purana, there's 5 cities mentioned. Knowing the past, present, and future. So it's just it could be considered events, as well as Krishna. If you have like a soul or something, or kind of like a certain kind of level of sentience or ego in that way, because souls in Hinduism are considered like the embodied ego. So Krishna knows the past, present, and future of all embodied souls, so he can know your past, present, and future. He has a tolerance against heat and cold and other dualities. So I would say that's a pretty hard kind of resistance right there. Almost I would say kind of almost like an omni resistance. If there's anything like uh in between dualities, he can resist that. Knowing the minds of others. So yeah, he could just like know your mind. Um, Checking the influences of sun, fire, water, poison, etc. So that's all like the elements, of course. And by the way, like the ones I listed, fire, earth, all of that, on a subtle level, all of those elements combined with each other to make the elements that you see in like, I don't want to say IRL world, because like that religion is in IRL, but so if you want to say like, oh well, plasma is different from fire or some dumb stuff, like um yeah, like um all elements in the universe, and even ones being currently discovered today, can be roped into that, as Hinduism is a living tradition. So and remaining unconquered by others. um Almost sorry, almost done. I'm reading this Wikipedia.
Oh no, you're
Being
good.
hearing things far away, moving the body wherever thought goes, assuming any form. Krishna can also enter the body of others. This could be seen as like a possession, but it also can be seen um as like kind of he's just taking control completely, at like putting himself in place. I don't know, that sounds like the same thing, but yeah. Witnessing, no, and perfect accomplishments of one's determination. Um, Orders or commands being unimpeded. And yeah, I'll leave it there for now.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Yep.
I mean,
And I still. Oh, God.
I mean, Innocent Zero. I mean, he's got a lot, but it's just like Christian just has a lot of metaphysical like possibilities or attacks. You know what I mean? Like the whole,
I would agree. Like
resistance to duality and so on and so forth.
his
You know what I
hacks
mean?
just
Being
aren't on the same level as Krishna's.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
but we'll go ahead and open up the voting.
Yeah.
I mean, Kua, who are you
I'll
voting
obviously
for?
vote for Krishna.
Don, who do you got?
Let's see. I'm gonna have to go with Krishna just because it's just
I got you. We're also
Yeah.
going
just the
to.
hacks, or they just scale higher. They're just better. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? Not to say that Innocent Zero doesn't have some cool hacks. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It's just
for
that
sure.
I just don't see what he could do in this scenario. Like, what is he going to do against a god?
Exactly.
It's not much.
He may have become a god unto himself, but in terms of like an established god from the beginning, he's really not doing a whole lot. So that's 2 votes for Krishna. We're gonna introduce Keep Talking to the stream.
Yo.
Hey.
And
you
from
go.
what I've heard, from what I've heard so far, I probably would have to go for Krishna too.
So we'll see if anybody in the chat wants to join in. It doesn't look like they have yet, so we're gonna call it there. That's a W for Krishna. He's going to the finals.
Banger.
Big question is he going up against the King of Ruin or the Emperor of Mankind? So,
Okay, I got a question real quick.
yeah, of course.
I came in late, so I didn't see how the Dragonborn versus King of Ruin went. Like, what things did the Dragonborn not have that the King of Ruin did?
Don, I'll let you take over there.
Oh, okay. I was ready to say I just had a whole rant about it. Just give me a second. I gotta get my notes back here.
Okay.
I think probably the biggest one is just victory manipulation. I mean, there are other characters so far in the tournament that have kind of had that, but the Dragonborn really didn't have anything to counter that.
Yeah, I mean, like that's one of the hacks is victory manipulation. It's called absolute victory inside of the Braveverse. But I mean, like the pilot has indomitable will, which he's absorbed what's called a G stone, and inside the verse, like the G stone takes courage and converts it to energy. So if you take indomitable will and take a stone that converts to energy, he literally has infinite energy, which has indomitable will, which gives an infinite feedback loop. And this has been shown to have multiple levels of infinite energy. Inside of Gal Gaigar Final, he fought someone that had at least 8 levels of 3D infinite energy, that had infinite regeneration, and was tanking him, one-shotting him, not even a question, like was overpowering him. And even though Papu is considered a god of creation, and who had a Lao G stone, which is double the power of a regular G stone, he put chemical bolts on Guy, which controlled his mind, body, and soul. But Guy was able to break out of him just within his will. The G Stone never loses power, so literally outside of Final, he's already has 8 or 9 levels of 3D infinite energy. Okay, at the end of Final, he goes to a place called the Orange Site, which is outside of all dimensionality and time. All right, and this is where Gal Gaigar meets the King of Ruin. All right, the King of Ruin and Gal Gaigar absorbs the King of Ruin. then the King of Ruin, just by existing in our plane of reality, was threatening to destroy the universe passively. And it took at least over a half a dozen outerversal entities from different franchises. This would include the Better Man series and the Gal Gaigar series, just to stop the King of Ruin's progression into our universe and to send him back to the Orange Site. The King of Ruin's estimated to be about 300 meters tall, and he was able to reduce Jupiter's size down to the palm of his hand, but it still had the same gravitational force as Jupiter, as if Jupiter was the same size as it normally is. And that was going to cause a singularity, what was called a universal singularity, that would have caused a cataclysm of monumental proportions. Also, he has a ability called Genishiku Armor, and if you don't have the same power output as Gal Gaigar, your attacks and abilities just simply don't work. Gal Gaigar has been referred multiple times as a god of destruction. He's considered the ultimate embodiment of courage. Evolutioner Guy, the pilot, is not even a human. He's an evolutioner, which is literally something that when he absorbed the G-Stone, that's when he became an evolutioner. And an evolutioner, it makes him transcend all concepts over humanity. This would be life, death, concepts of humanity, and pretty much. He was able to exist in a place that doesn't have time or space, and was able to move and, cognitively know what was going on in a place that didn't have time or space. He's able to instant hack any computer, and he has all knowledge from every other Brave series before this
one. I would also like to add and point out that, during that he talked about Guy being the pilot. He's talking about Guy Gardner, the greatest of the Green Lanterns.
That's hilarious. But
okay,
absolute victory is a concept inside the Braveverse, and to simply define it, absolute victory means whoever who has absolute victory, the user will win a battle no matter the odds or difference in power level. For example, like a 3D being with absolute victory could beat a 4D being, even though the 4D being dimensionally scales higher.
Like, does it stop plot manipulation per se, or conceptual manipulation too?
Yeah, victory manipulation uses reality warping to an extremely high extent, fate manipulation, narration manipulation to a high degree as well. Like in Gal Gaigar Final, let's just use this as a matter of fact, he uses absolute victory as he was getting hit with a attack that had 7 levels of 3D infinite energy hitting him. He was like, I just got hit by this attack. The narrator comes in and was like, Guy, you are the king of Braves. Your legacy is undying. And warped the fucking attack back to where he was holding it from 3 panels before. Also, it's been stated multiple times that he transcends fate in its entirety.
Transcends fate. Hold on.
Also, he's been known as the moniker of the Destroyer of Dimensions.
So I'm gonna push the tournament forward, and I'm gonna go ahead and open the voting on King of Ruin versus Emperor of Mankind. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Don and I will tackle those.
Yeah, since I wasn't here for the actual thing, I'll probably hold back on arguing for Dragonborn. Sorry, I'm so late, but yeah,
not a problem.
You know, we go ahead.
So yeah, I'll hold off on arguing any more points for Dragonborn. Like the whole, I think it was called the Tulpa, where it contains all spatial dimensions and the concepts of said dimensions. It's like where concepts are born, and the Dragonborn was almost able to destroy it, or was just able to destroy it. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that would be equalized anyway, so.
Alright.
in the tournament
So,
because yeah.
all right,
So
let's go.
we'll start with Kua. Kua, who do you think's winning this one? Emperor of Mankind or King of Ruin?
I know definitely. Yeah. Could I look at the page? Do. Reality warping, physics manipulation, and all of the hacks are kinda equalized, right?
Um, yeah, it's more of the extent of how you use it. So I mean, if you can use it to a greater degree than the other, you kind of nudge them out in that aspect.
And mind of the target. Actually, yeah. Hey Don, would you say that uh uh Gao Gaigar would you say that your guy mostly tanks or powers through most psychic attacks because of his willpower?
I would say
Like if it's
yes. Yes,
okay.
directly because of his will.
Okay. Because I know there's lots of psychic powers that aren't specifically like meant to like impede or like like limit the person. It's just supposed to confuse them. So it's not really a thing you're trying to push through. Um, but okay, I'll take that. Because there's a lot of these powers are psychic based because of the warp and chaos.
Yeah, I'm just
Fire.
that's the thing with like the Emperor of Mankind. He has a lot of psychic abilities. I'm just not sure what that's going to do to a person that's been able to break out of, a manipulation by a god that's controlled his mind, body, and spirit at the same time and was able to break out of that with his will alone. I just don't.
No,
I
yeah.
just don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a lot of hacks, a lot of cool hacks. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. I just don't know if that's enough.
Yeah. I mean, because I would say there's a difference between like whatchamacallit, like resisting like a mental bind, like with those chemical spears you said. Um,
Yeah, chemical bolts. Yeah, that's what they were
chemi-
just called.
chemical bolts. There's a difference between resisting like a mental bind versus like resisting getting your head crushed with a telekinetic grip. Um, you know what? I know some of this might be disingenuous, but for the time being, I'm gonna say King of Ruin because I want to go up against Don.
All right, Don, who are you voting for?
Let's see. The Emperor of Mankind has a lot of hacks, but they deal basically around like the psyche and mild manipulation. Like I don't know the extent of the reality warping that Emperor of Mankind's able to do because I just saw like in the first sentence it was like in his universe or the universe.
Ooh.
Like that's meaning that's just like, oh well, you're just the strongest in a verse, a singular verse. Like the King of Ruin is from a place that's completely outside of dimensionality and time. That is baseline outer versal.
Uh, doesn't
I
give
mean,
me
I
a.
really feel like the Emperor of Mankind could like really win if I really read over this stuff. Um, what would you say? What would you say your guys? How would you say he does against like physics based like attacks? If you know what I mean.
Physics based attacks like gravity
Um,
manipulation, shit like that.
yeah, I mean, like I'm reading over a lot of this, and it says stuff like radiation or gravity and stuff like that. Or
I've I was going to say, like, the King of Room had no problem, like, warping Jupiter's size down to the palm of his hand and keeping Jupiter's gravity the same size as if it was normal. So I don't think, like, like gravity manipulation's doing much or anything of that nature. Like,
Mm.
And from what I'm reading, I mean, the
I'm gonna keep
reality.
what I said and still vote for Don because I want to face off against Don, but I
I
have a
mean,
strong inkling.
the reality
so
manip that I'm seeing is really kind of just having to do with interacting with the warp, which I think is like a separate kind of dimension. I mean, it's really just kind of movement between there and reality, and they're not really changing other people's reality. It's more of like a self-targeting reality manipulation, from what I'm reading and understanding. Again, I mean,
Mm.
I don't know a whole lot about the 40K verse. So I mean, he may be stronger than I'm making him out to be. But
Ooh,
yeah, I mean,
plot
like
manipulation.
anytime they talk about reality manipulation, the warp is mentioned in there, and it's kind of in context to the warp.
yeah, like I said, I'm not a big, Warhammer, verse person. I don't know. You know what I mean? But just from what has been read to me and what I've read here, it's cool. It's just I don't think it's enough.
Right. So keep talking. You want to throw a vote in?
From what I know of 40k scaling, a lot of the hacks and abilities do reach an outer versus scale, but since all that's equalized, I would still give to the King of Ruin.
He is a clean sweep, just like Krishna did. So I mean, we're on to the
Sheesh.
big bads. Dawn versus
Huh?
Let's go.
Kua. I'm gonna go ahead and give a vote to each.
You get two votes?
So I mean, if
Damn.
there's anybody in chat that would like to weigh in, we're in the
Um,
finals.
I mean, the only thing I can argue against like Krishna is this: like a lot of it's metaphysical. It has to be interpreted as what we're using it as. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not base. Like I could send you every single scan that I've told you about for Gal Gaigar right now. But like I told you earlier in VC, I was like, Bub, how much time you got? Because I have a whole Dropbox full of Gal Gaigar scans that I could
Right.
send you easily to prove any point that I've said in this video at all whatsoever.
I would say it's kind of the same here. I mean, I'm not even like some like huge scripture reader. Like I'm trying to be, but I don't even know all this stuff on like a scholarly level. I personally feel that if I do lose this, and this isn't any place from ego, it's because I didn't argue it as good, or there was a piece of information I didn't have. Because this is literal IRL God, so
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
putting
fair.
that out there. Not as an insult, but like, come on, this is like literally God here. Um, I do have some more stuff to bring in. By the way, some of the DMs that I sent, but they kind of were in paragraph form, so I understand if you didn't put them on the sheet. Um, so he has a truth. He has a truth and slash logic manipulation. In this quote, it's chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. Of all creations, I am the beginning, middle, and end. Um, so in that way, he's also eternal. Krishna is eternal. He's not affected by time. I think a lot of people confuse whatchamacallit, eternal with infinite. It is kind of the same, but like um I would say eternal is like beyond time. And there's a lot more context that goes with that, but of all creations I am the beginning, the middle, of end. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, or basically I'm trying to spell the word out.
I've got it on
Logicians.
screen.
Okay. Among of logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So truth slash logic manip. Not only just as a hacks, but we'll get to the what I was gonna kind of go on later. He has multiplication. In one story during his childhood, Brahma, the god of the universe or the god of creation, he basically kidnapped his friends to like kind of like test him because he didn't actually think he was Godhead. He just thought he was like some like magician boy who was like trying to play at God. So while he kidnapped his friends and kept them in his realm in kind of like this coma state, um, Krishna couldn't bear to see the mothers and fathers of his village be without their children. So instead he cloned all of his friends completely like as they were, and like living as they were, as if like on a completely. And for an entire year they just like lived like nothing happened. But when Brahma came back to kind of like what the heck, I thought I kidnapped those kids. Boss, I thought I kidnapped those kids and stuff. The whole point of, I guess, what Hugh Krishna was doing with multiplying his friends was to show that, um, kind of like to put Brahma in his place, and like kind of dull his ego. So he can multiply, and he can do this to an infinite degree. Kind of, if you go through the DMs, I sent you an art, a little cool painting. Uh, if as you see, he actually transformed all of his friends, all of his cowherd friends, into many different Vishnus. So he can also like shape his like clones right there, if you see on the screen, into other like like just as like powerful, um at least according to the scripture, like omnipotent, omnipresent gods. But if you were to be like technical scaling, which honestly they kind of trump scaling, but not getting into religious rites, those are all like at least outerversal boundless gods right there. I remember Q scaling Hinduism pretty crazy. Um, Kind of getting into when in terms of like his universe and like forces control. Here's kind of another short story. Uh, After kind of that whole incident, I explained Brahma Brahma humbled himself before Krishna and then Krishna tells him of the multiverse and how there are other Brahmas out there, or creator gods, with bigger and more complex realities. And those Brahmas have more heads, kind of representing their status. So, and whose laws and understandings work on a higher scale, or even completely different and alien from our own. This kind of exemplifies his force control or the laws of the universe, anything from gravity to time. All of this is bound in Maya, which he controls as well. So even like, let's say your character has he has time resistance. He's just resistant to all time hacks. Krishna can manipulate how time operates. So like, or the system of time. So like, for example, we think of time in a linear sense, and then even in like other scientific fields, they bring in that like time can branch off, but usually time is like thought up of in the sense of like lines, if that makes sense. You've seen like the tree, and then like those many timelines kind of in many comic verses before. Um,
Yeah.
Krishna can make time vertical. I know that literally makes no sense right now, but or he can make time cyclic. And that's how usually time works in the in Hinduism, but he can change the nature of time or the nature of whatever he's controlling. Example being there are universes where the laws were completely different to our own. So our conception of how it might work in another universe cannot be inferred from how we think things work in our universe. So like let's say there's a universe where fire's cold or something, stuff like that. Um it's not only his power, but the elements are inside of him. He is the peak of knowledge. This is his nature. Krishna's nature is everything, but he is not those things. He is transcendent from them. Um, Let me just read some of the scans. Not fully, but know all manifestations of existence are of existence indeed, be they pure, passionate, or dark. They have emanated from me. They are in me, as Krishna contains the whole creation. Yet I, Krishna, all powerful and all encompassing, am not in them. So examples of stuff he is, which I would just to sum it up, he's everything. So all concepts you can think of, he's in them, but he is not them. My inferior natures developed for me. Hold up. Of the moon and the sun, I am the syllable Om. Om, the sound in space, and virility, and he is virility in men, the sweet fragrance in the earth. I am the luminance in fire, the life in all beings. I am eternal. I am the intelligence of the intelligent, the splendor of the splendid, the strength of the strong, devoid of desire and uh, devoid of desire. With everything, I am the creator as well as the annihilator of the entire universe. There is nothing whatsoever superior to me. Um, all things are strong in me as a row of gems on a thread. So that kind of sums it up. He is like the essence of all those things, but he is not them. He is transcendent of them. He is inexhaustible and beyond the three qualities. So this is going back to his city control, or the manipulation of Maya. These three qualities kind of determine, and can actually bring a soul up or down in the chain of the universe. And so in this sense, he can literally start nerfing you. I would say. The meaning of this. I don't know if it would apply exactly the same to other verses, but just short passage here. The entire world, deluded by these three modes, purity, passion, and darkness, of material nature, does not understand me beyond these, as in inexhaustible. Indeed, this divine illusion of mine consists of the modes of nature, um, which is, purity, passion, and ignorance. So I think in that way he could apply that quality onto a person, um and like in a way like let's say for Gao Gai Gar, he's courageous or whatever, he can introduce Rajas, and Rajas is ignorance, laziness, and in a way like maybe not completely depower him, because we're not having him use this power on an omnipotent degree, but he could introduce that quality. It's not just like like into his mind or anything. It's just that quality of reality. His true form is imperishable, blah blah blah. Uh, you have to go beyond duality to even understand him or comprehend him. He is present. He is also present in a sonic form. So this isn't just purely sound, but it's like kind of like that's how the best way to describe it. Om. Um, he's yep. La 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 la. Sorry, I'll just keep going and going. No no no. Of the wielder of weapons, he is the best. Okay, yeah, I think I'm probably gonna end right there. Um, Yep, that's it.
All right.
Well, the thing about what you said about Krishna, you know what I mean? He said he affects a person's mind, correct? Or
Yeah.
can. Well, God's not a
Yeah.
person. He's an evolutionary. He's simply above, he's transcended humanity and all concepts of it.
Sure.
So
But
I'm not so sure what Krishna could do about like influencing a mind of to something that, you know, is humanity, that involves humanity, when he's simply above all humanity's concepts. I mean, the whole strength of strength is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very 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 top tier statement. But at the same time, it's all in how you interpret the scripture. Or
I could fill in the kind of the concrete gap, the crack in the concrete right there. In terms of mind, it's not literally just literal people. It's consciousness, and consciousness goes way beyond just like concepts in Hinduism, because consciousness, at least because the gods themselves have consciousness, and there's many different layers of reality where even higher gods like have some kind of sentience or an identity, and Krishna or like Godhead can affect those minds as well. So it's not just like human beings or anything. But that also applies to like animals as well. Like animals, their consciousness is less complete as humans would be, but they're still like have a certain kind of sentience to them, you know?
also, the the multiplication thing. How long did you say it took? Oh shit, what was his name? The person that left and then came back and was like, "Whoa, where'd the children go?" How long did he leave for? Was it a certain amount of time? I'm I can't remember if you did say that or not.
Oh yeah. In that story, Brahma, the creator god of the universe, meaning not like, he just created everything in the universe, like as like a, yeah, he's like a builder. So he left for like about an entire year, but that specific power Krishna he can do forever.
Okay, I'm not so worried about the doing forever kind of thing. It's the amount of time it takes for him to get the amount of people that he needs to be able to multiply to make a difference here.
Um so what exactly do you mean? Like how fast he can multiply?
Yes, like as in how many people can he turn into himself? Or I think that's what you said. He was able to turn into himself over an extended period of time. Correct?
He turned them all into his
Um
friends, and then there's another deal where he turned a bunch of people into Vishnus.
yeah.
Okay, that was over
Um
a period of time. Correct?
yeah. Yeah. He could do that at whatever speed he wants to. He's not he's not bound by time. He could just like, blink, happen, or even less than that. Uh all here's a good thing that puts a lot of like, if you want to ask that question about any other power he has, like how fast can he activate growing big or growing small or whatever. Um uh, and this kind of is another metaphysical answer, but he's Krishna is the prime mover, or they've described Vishnu as the prime mover. All things that kind of are like active, like the changing of the seasons, um so and so, the rotation of the planets, all of that happens, all action happens within time, but Krishna is beyond time. He's beyond duality, so he can make that happen however fast he wants to. A lot of those discrepancies in the stories, where like, it takes him for a certain time to do something, or you'd probably ask, well, if Brahma kidnapped his friends, why didn't he just teleport them back, or why didn't he just do this, or why didn't he do that, or how come at the end of his story he died to like an arrow or something in his foot. All of those discrepancies are his Leela, or his role on Earth. So everything that was supposed to happen in a certain way was because like that was like the script of his play. But in this situation, he's not like bounded by that.
Now, is he bounded by any other god? Like, is he bound by the creator god in any sort of way?
Um, no, he's not. In at least in the traditions which glorify him, he is Godhead. Yeah. Um, like there's been times where he's like quote unquote like stalemated a god, but then again that was his Leela, or like that was just how the event was supposed to play out because of XYZ reasons, like he fought
So,
Shiva one time, and if you're to use logic, well, if he's that powerful, then why didn't he just like take Shiva out and stuff? Well, the whole point of him fighting Shiva was he was trying to kill his devotee, but since Krishna was honoring the fact that you know he was just doing his job and stuff. He was like fighting him or something. That could be like a reason.
so you would say that it was fate for him to, play out this battle with this other god just for it to happen. I mean, even though he could have beat him, he just didn't because he was fated not to, or he needed this event to happen.
Um, though all of those events that were to happen wasn't something that was outside of his um control per se. So like he's not bound by fate. He's just it's like actors in a play. None of those people who signed up for the play need to be there. The actors on the stage, they can obviously probably just like cause a scene and stuff, and like not want to do their job as actors. But he's deciding to purposely do the whole play of what.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go into the whole narration manipulation bullshit because I'm not even getting myself into that can of worms. So
No, yeah. I mean, I can take this however far I want to, but it's just up to how I argue it,
yeah, honestly, we should probably like end it there because we've kind of been on this for a few minutes now.
But yeah,
I mean, I've got each of your votes. Keep Talking is the only one that's not voted, and he's going to be our swing vote.
Hmm.
So, I mean, based on what you've heard, Keep Talking, who do you think takes it, Krishna or King of Ruin?
When it comes to religious stuff, it's hard to really think about it as like as in like power scaling terms, and it feels weird. But through all I've heard, I think King of Ruin wins.
damn.
All
Hmm.
right. Well, from that vote right there, the winner is King of Ruin. Don's second win in a row,
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
protecting his title. Um,
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
So yeah, what's the next plan for like the next tournament? You have
I'm
anything in
thinking,
mind, or
yeah, I think my next tournament's going to be video game characters.
Oh my good lord.
Hmm.
I
is there a
mean,
cap on how powerful they are? Or
yeah, I'm going to put a cap because I don't want like Kratos from God of War just sweeping it, or I don't want people from Dragon Ball Z games flying in here.
Yeah. Someone just plays the Thor video game from the MCU. Just like, yeah, I'm just using Thor.
Yeah. Or
Mm.
what is that DC fighting game? Whatever, Injustice or something like that.
Oh, God.
Injustice, yeah.
Injustice, that's what it is. Yeah. Because
Mm.
some of that stuff gets wacky. I'm thinking about restricting it to PlayStation 2 games, but I'm not positive yet. I don't know.
PlayStation 2 games, you say?
Yeah, because I mean, I've got some fun characters from there, like Beautiful Joe. He's got some fun stuff. Nothing super broken, but he's just a fun character. Sly Cooper has a lot of abilities that he can do. I don't know if you guys have played any of the Beautiful Joe or Sly Cooper games.
Oh, I played
Sly Cooper
most
games
of the-
back in the day. They were pretty dope.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, by the end of the series, he's got access to the entire Thievius Raccoonus. So, I mean, any ability within there, he can do. And, I mean, some of them won't help him in battle, like standing on top of a spire, of a really short point.
Ooh.
But, I mean, other than...
I guess I'll go ahead and lock in Spyro.
Ooh, Spyro's a good one. He's got some power to him. But, yeah, I mean, I don't plan on making it Hax only. It's just going to be a, regular open battle between the two characters with I've not set the cap yet, but I'm gonna try to figure one out. But yeah, I think video game
Oh yeah,
characters.
I got one. I got one for y'all. That's just gonna be the ball buster, son.
Nice.
Okay.
Don's
Do we
looking to
just
keep
use
his
the
title.
Do we just use feats from like the PlayStation 2 games themselves or through their entire history?
No, it's gonna be limited to the PlayStation 2 games. If I decide to set that parameter, I may open it up because I know Sly Cooper had a game later in PlayStation 3. But I don't know. I've never played it. This is Sly Cooper 4 or 5 or something. But
I kind of feel like old school consoles should be added, like PS2s, Xbox 360s,
see, that's
Sega
kind of more
Genesis,
where I was
Nintendo
going.
64.
Well,
Like pre
maybe not
2010 games.
maybe not 360, maybe just the original Xbox, since
That
those
works.
came out around the same time.
But I mean,
Like
even the
GameCube
original
too.
Xbox. I mean, you got Master Chief. I
True.
know the verse for a Gears of War gets pretty crazy. So I mean, you've still got a lot of good characters, but I'm gonna workshop it, come up with a definitive, some definitive parameters. But yeah, start thinking of some video game characters that you guys like. And I appreciate you
That.
guys being in the call. Makes it a lot easier when we have people here and kind of explain it. Sorry, keep talking that you joined a little late, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's my fault anyways. I don't know why you're apologizing.
I mean, it's just not fun. It kind of just sucks. I've been there. I've done that.
Mm.
But I'm going to call it there, and I'll catch you guys in the next tournament.